podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Tracy.
And I'm Corwin Heller.
And we're getting back to our roots, finally getting back on a Thursday to talk about statistics and baseball.
Which is what our podcast is about.
Yes, sir. Man, how I missed doing pointless stats that mean nothing. Didn't you, Corwin?
Oh, just all day, every day.
This is what this show is all about. That's why we were formed as a unit. And that's what we're getting into today. So, I was thinking about it, and I wanted to know who, of all the players in baseball history, had the most total bases in a season in a year where they had an on-base percent of under 350. So, in my mind, and I would like your opinion on this as well, 350 is usually like the cutoff. Or at least it's a good like tipping point for when someone's getting on base a lot versus not like a lot. You know, if someone's getting on base like 340, a 34% amount of the time, it's like that's fine. But if someone's getting on 360, I don't know. I see that passing over the 350 mark as being the line of demarcation for successfully getting on base a lot versus what you're expected of. I don't know. Am I making sense?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Do you have a line like that in your head?
Absolutely not.
Oh, all right. 350 could be considered a low bar. You could certainly raise this up to something more impressive, like 375. And we can certainly change this up to look like that too. But for now, I thought 350 would be a good number to start at. And as it turns out, there are only 8 such seasons in which this had happened. And let's start with the least number of bases. Now let's start with the most number of bases. Let's start with Alfonso Soriano. He had 381 bases in his in the 2002 season playing for the Yankees. That year he played in 156 games. He had 128 runs, 209 hits, 51 doubles, 2 triples, 39 home runs, 102 RBIs. So off the bat, those offensive stats look pretty fucking good, right?
Yeah.
23 walks is not a lot.
Not great.
No, 1 intentional, and his slash line was a 300 batting average, 332 on base, 547 slugging, good for an 880 OPS, which ain't fucking bad.
Not at all.
Not in the slightest. He also led the league that year in plate appearances, at bats, runs, and hits, and stolen bases with 41. And yet, 332 on base is honestly not great.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah. I was going to say I don't know how that math works, but I know how that math works. It's just he's not good at walks.
Yeah, isn't that just so fascinating? Like if you're coming up to the plate against him, or if you're pitching against him, like that's an intimidating stat line.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the fact that he never fucking walked. Like, one of the things that makes Mike Trout such a threat is that he's not swinging at things that aren't in the strike zone. So he's going to walk just a bonkers number of times. Alfonso, though, like he was like, no, I'm hitting this. Like, put it somewhere. I'm hitting it. And that's just amazing.
Just to clarify, on-base percentage is batting average plus walks? Essentially.
On base is your hits, your walks, and your hit by pitches.
Got it.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure I had that right before I started talking out of my ass.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. He also that year got a All-Star nod, a Silver Slugger, and finished 3rd in MVP voting. So, by all accounts, this was a good year.
Yeah, except those 23 walks.
23 walks. Ain't that some shit? How would you feel about this season?
If he was on my fantasy team, I'd love it.
Let's go with like a fan. Like, you're a Yankees fan in '02. How do you feel about this Alfonso Soriano season?
I
Feels
don't
like a
know how you
success.
could say that you don't like it. I mean, the guy had over 200 hits, over 100 RBI, over 125 runs. Like he had a phenomenal season. Stole 41 bases, even though that's not part of on base percentage. Like he had a tremendous season. I would fucking love it. I mean, walks aren't fun to watch. Like honestly, it's probably one of the just least exciting aspects of baseball from both a pitching and batting, standpoint. So I don't think I would care whatsoever if, Alfonso Soriano was a Pirate, whatever, in 2002.
Yeah, you're nail on the head, really. And honestly, like all of these seasons are pretty good, which is
Mhm.
just so weird because you'd figure like, or having total bases is obviously good, but like an on base percentage under 300, 3 or 350, I was really expecting a lot of home run heavy seasons, and that's certainly present here. But like, all these seasons are just genuinely good, but just kind of weird. So let's talk about the next one. Jimmy Rollins in his 2007 season with the Phillies, 380 total bases with an on base percentage of 344. So just one base shy of tying Alfonso for being at the top of this very weird list. He also led the league in plate appearances that year, 778 of them. He played in all 162 games. He had 716 at bats, led the league in that. 139 runs, led the league in that. 212 hits, 38 doubles, 20 triples, which he obviously led the league in. 30 home runs, 94 RBIs, 49 walks. Although which is just still more than double of what Alfonso's was. Uh, a slash line of 296, 344, 531, good for an 875 OPS. What make you of Jimmy Rollins this season?
Just it's essentially the same. Like my feelings are very much the same. Like a few less home runs, same number of stolen bases. Slash line is marginally the same. Close enough where it's not really that big of a difference.
Literally 0.005.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's the exact same feeling I had with Alfonso Soriano.
Yeah, and to boot, Alfonso that year finished third in MVP voting, and in this year, Jimmy Rollins won the MVP.
Okay, yeah, wow. Honestly, like the only striking difference between these two is while, Jimmy Rollins hit 9 fewer home runs, he had twice as many walks and like half as many strikeouts. So, honestly, this is probably a better season all around. Had more at bats by, you know, 20, had 11 more runs, had 3 more hits, had a lot less doubles, but who cares? Had 10 times as many triples. Like I said, 9 fewer home runs, 8 less RBI, 26 more walks. And then let's see, what's the math on this one? 72 more or 72 less strikeouts. So all around better season.
I want to play a game. Is it Alfonso or Jimmy Rollins? Because wow, these two players are like a little close. Um,
All time or this season? Or
all,
these 2
all,
seasons?
all time, like
Okay.
career. Yeah. Um, 17 years in baseball. Jimmy Rollins or Alfonso Soriano?
17 years in baseball, I'll go Jimmy Rollins.
It is Jimmy Rollins. Alfonso Soriano had 16 years, so
Oh, really got me there.
fucking close, right? Um, 7-time All Star.
I'll go Alfonso Soriano.
That is Alfonso. Jimmy Rollins is only a 3-time All Star. Uh, 28.2 career WAR.
I'll go Jimmy Rollins.
That's actually Alfonso Soriano, which feels
Ooh,
bizarre because he
yeah.
must have had a terrible end of his career. Oh, he did. Uh, so from Alfonso Soriano's, what I'll call his rookie season in 2001, because that's the year he was up for Rookie of the Year, to his age 32 season, which is the last year he was an All-Star, he accumulated 26.2 WAR, which means for the remainder of his career, he would only accumulate 2 WAR. And it is ugly. Negative 1.6, positive 0.8, 0, 1.9, 1.0.8, 2, 1, negative 1.2. This is ugly, my friend. This is not good. Anyway,
Yikes.
Jimmy Rollins, this is where the biggest disparity between the two in my eyes. Jimmy Rollins, 46.3 WAR. Actually quite decent.
Wow.
All right, career OPS plus 95.
I'll go Alfonso Soriano.
Jimmy Rollins.
Jesus.
Yeah, Alfonso Soriano, 112.
Uh, I should have I thought you gave me the higher number of the two, so I went with Alfonso Soriano.
All right. Career on base percent, 319.
Alfonso Soriano?
Alfonso. Jimmy Rollins is 324. Neither of those numbers are very good.
No, they are not.
Oh man. Career home runs, 231.
Ooh, that's a low number over 16, 17 years. So I'm gonna go with Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Alfonso, 412.
Oh, that's a pretty big disparity right there.
Yeah, quite large. Anyway, that concludes this episode's edition of Alfonso Soriano or Jimmy Rollins. Thank you for
Man,
playing, Corwin.
his defense must have been speaking of Alfonso Soriano, his defense must have been really bad because I just pulled up his well, I guess he really tapered off the end of his career with his offensive numbers, but they were really good for a good chunk of time. And
Yes, and also his
28.2 WAR
defense is
is
bad.
not good.
Yeah. OWAR, 36.1. DWAR, negative 10.3.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's just a big old yikes. Anyway, Nomar Garcia Parra is the third most bases on this year on this spreadsheet. He had 365 bases in his 1997 season with Boston on a 342 on base percent. He led the league that year in at bats with 684, hits with 209, and triples with 11. His final slash line for that year 306, 342, 534 for an 875 OPS. He also had 44 doubles and 30 home runs and 35 walks, which is just not a what do you make of this season?
Again, this is almost exactly the same story. Very, very similar to Jimmy Rollins.
We're definitely seeing a trend here.
Yeah, like offensive numbers are, not as powerful as Alfonso Soriano, about the same as Jimmy Rollins, not nearly as good of a base stealer as either of them, with only 22. Again, it's kind of same shit, different day with all of these.
Which is very much so reflected in number 4 on this list, which is also Alfonso Soriano. He did this twice, where he had over 350 total bases, but under a 350 on base percentage, and it was
That's so
actually
bad.
the next year. So he did this in back-to-back seasons. Which is hilarious. And you know what's crazy is between those two seasons, 2002 and 2003, he put up 10.2 WAR.
Oof.
That's
That's
actually
a
fine.
good chunk.
Yeah, 4.8 and 5.4. Like, so that 2003 season, that campaign was even better because probably because his DWAR wasn't negative, but still, like, damn, that's over 30% of his WAR in 2 seasons and it's these two bizarro seasons.
It's, it's one of those things where you don't notice guys that are just, like, really terrible at walking unless it's something that's pointed out. At least, it's not something I notice all that much. At least when I'm watching the game, it's just not something I focus on. Man, Alfonso Soriano, that had to have been a major storyline when he was playing. Like, I feel like people had to have talked about that a good amount.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember him playing with the Yankees, and that is all I remember about him. That's it. That's all I remember. Yeah. I'm just gonna. So these top four are all in this category. They got their bases through like base running, right? Jimmy Rollins, Nomar, they both like led the league in triples. Alfonso, actually, all of these guys had a lot of doubles. They all had a lot of hits, and they all had a lot of stolen bases. 41 from Alfonso's first season, 41 from Jimmy Rollins, 22 from Nomar Garcia Parra, 35 from Alfonso Soriano's second season. These bottom four, however, are what I was kind of expecting going in, which is the home run hitters. So Johnny Bench, Ernie Banks, Nolan Arenado, and
Hello.
Andre Dawson are the final four for this.
I know
Corwin,
the
can you hear
first
me?
3 names.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So let's get into what the fuck happened here. Corwin, you remember Andre Dawson? We've talked about him so many times now.
Have we? Is that a joke?
No, we actually have, because you kept not knowing.
Honestly, I don't feel bad for you, Andre Dawson, if this is a reoccurring segment because now it's hilarious.
Hall of Famer, MVP winner, Rookie of the Year.
I
Andre
looked
Dawson.
up a picture of him. I have never seen this man before in my life.
You've seen it. We've talked about him several times.
I
And
feel
every
no
time,
shame.
like, I don't know who this is. Anyway,
He went to Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University,
that's where they teach you how to hit.
also known as Florida A&M.
So Johnny Bench, we don't have to talk about these as in depth, because you're right. Much of it is a pattern. Although I do want to talk about Renato. Johnny Bench in 1970, second earliest. Ernie Banks was 55. Johnny Bench, 355 total bases on a 345 on base percent. He led the league that year in home runs with 45, and led the league in RBIs with 148. His slash line that year, 293, 345, 587, good for a 932 OPS.
Oof.
This is a very good season from Johnny Bench. A very, very good ball player. 1970, he won the MVP with this slash line. So, yeah.
It's fucking crazy, like, how many of these guys are just so bad at just taking pitches, but they're multiple MVP winners or MVP winners that season type of.
Yeah, or
I
finish
guess
super
when
high
you
in
have
voting.
over 350 bases, that's a huge deal. It's just, one of those things, man.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting all the seasons to be like this great. Like, these are great
Right.
seasons. Yeah, because Alfonso finished third in MVP voting that year. Jimmy Rollins won MVP that year. Nomar's 1997 season, he won Rookie of the Year that year and came in 8th in MVP voting. Alfonso's 2003 season, he finished. Wait, so he finished 20th in MVP voting with only a marginally worse stat line, but more WAR. That's weird as fuck.
That's baseball, man.
Yeah, you got me there. It's definitely baseball. So Johnny Bench, phenomenal season. Ernie Banks's 1955 season, the first time this happened, 355 stolen total bases on a 345 on base percent, the exact same as Johnny Bench. He played 154 games that year. That's the only thing he led the league in. But his slash line that year, real quick, home runs, 44 of them, which in 1955, big deal.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. He had a 295 batting average, a 345 on base, a 596 slugging, good for a 941 OPS. Ernie Banks, very much so in the Hall of Fame. And that year, third in MVP voting. This was not one of his two back-to-back MVPs. So, good fucking year for Banks.
Yeah, no kidding.
Andre Dawson, just to skip over Arenado real quick. So, the interesting thing about Arenado and Nolan, the interesting thing about Arenado and Andre Dawson is they each led the league in total bases that year, which means the National League leader in total bases each of these seasons wasn't even remotely fucking close to leading an on-base percentage, which is just weird. I don't know. It's just weird. They also both led the league in the same things. They both led the league in home runs. Nolan Arenado hit 42. Andre Dawson had 49. And they both led the league in RBIs. Nolan Arenado with 130 and Andre Dawson with 137. So Andre Dawson's 1987 season netted him an MVP. Look at that. My God. So let's get to Nolan Arenado because we actually know who he is. What a season. I don't even have real words. I mean, it's amazing this happened. He finished 8th in MVP this year, but like he's the most recent person on this list. I guess only by 8 years from Jimmy Rollins, but it just feels so like a 287 batting average, a 287, 323, and 575 is a slash line for an 898 OPS. I guess that's good, but you take away the slugging, 287, 323 as the opening two numbers of your slash line. Doesn't feel great, does it?
It's not. That doesn't feel MVP worthy. Well, it wasn't MVP worthy, but it's not the level of caliber that you would expect from like the guys. I don't know where I'm even going with this.
Don't look.
It's
Eyes
okay.
away from the stat sheet.
Okay.
How many times did he walk that year?
Oh fuck. With a batting average of 287, and what was it, 323?
He an on base, 323.
35.
34.
Ooh.
Also, I just realized this, but Nolan Arenado does not walk a lot. His walks by year, 23, 25, 34, which was this season we're talking about. And then it jumps to 68, 62, 73, and 62. But my God, he at least he used to not walk a lot.
Let's see. So I just pulled up his baseball reference page, and this year we're talking about he led the league in home runs, RBIs, total bases, and
Sack flies.
sack flies. Got
Which
it.
I don't think really matters.
Nope.
You know what's interesting is he doubled his walks from 2015 to 2016, 34 to 68, and had 2 fewer bases in his total bases.
How? I guess.
He hit only 1 fewer home run.
Oh,
But he had 4
doubles.
total hits. Like, doubles went down, triples went up. I mean, it just could you imagine
That is
doubling your
weird,
total,
though.
doubling your walks and cutting your total bases by even a little bit? Like, how weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Huh.
Like his on base percent went from 323 to 362, which is way better.
Yeah.
And he got less bases. Which season would you rather have as a team?
The second one, or not the second one, but like 2016
Yeah, I would too.
for sure.
Yeah, I guess because it is a more complete season to sacrifice literally 2 singular bases over the course of a year.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. Then shall we deviate to the other list of
Yeah. Let's do that.
total bases under 300, but an on base percentage of over 350. So kind of the exact opposite of what we just did here.
So does this have a minimum plate appearances?
Yes, it does. And that is because there are a lot of players that have over a 350 on base percentage and under 300 bases. Because if you come up to the majors for 1 plate appearance and walk, congrats. you have an over 350 batting on base percentage and under 300 bases. So I believe I set the minimum for this. I'm gonna double check it, but I think I set it at 4 or 500.
It looks like it's 500.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, Bill North still leads this list, right? Yeah, and it is.
There's a lot more names here.
Significantly more. Significantly more. So what's interesting is for one thing, I have this sorted by fewest bases. So Bill North, who leads this list, he had 121 total bases in 1980 in 128 games. So he was, in theory, getting on base less than once per game, all averaged out, which is not good.
No.
And yet, his on base percent, 373. And Corwin, I just don't understand that.
I understand it just as little as you do.
I mean, that's confounding. His oh my god. His slash line is 251, 373, and a slugging of 292 for a 665 OPS. I don't get it.
Did he play with a wet pool noodle as a bat?
Would that even explain it though? Like
I don't know. I really don't know.
So he had 104 hits and 81 walks, which means he was 23 walks short of equaling his hits.
He is a Joey Votto light to the extreme.
Now hold on. He had one double. Sorry, he had one triple and one home run that season. Which do you think he was more excited to get?
Probably the home run, because I'm sure he didn't think the triple was going to be a triple. Like triples usually it's like it either has to be perfect where it hits and just like bounces into a corner, off a wall, or just really poorly played. Hitting a home run is still a huge deal. Like you see it go over the wall. You get to have your little trot around the bases. I personally would definitely be more excited about the home run.
Okay, I think that's fair. It was a genuine question because I really don't know how I prioritize it, because on the one hand, a home run is such a flex of power.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, triples are so rare,
Yeah.
So tough to say. But I can be convinced either way is what I'm going with.
You have to run really fast for a triple, so that might be the tiebreaker if it ever came down to that, because you could just slow walk a home run. You're a dick, but like you can still do that. You gotta hustle for a triple, and that's
Gary
not
Sanchez
fun.
has a triple.
It's true, and he had to hustle for it.
Kinda. He also got that triple on an intentional walk, which is one of my favorite Gary Sanchez facts. Back before they changed the rule, because if you only got into baseball within the last like 2 years and you're like, how did he get a triple when you just point to first base? Did he just keep going? No.
Imagine if someone tried to do that.
I know Jose Bautista did actually. He got a walk, like a normal walk, like in the game. He got a walk
and then just kept going.
He was jogging to first, and then like no one was paying attention, so he just like ran to second after he got to first, and they just didn't get the ball there in time, so he just stole second immediately. It was hilarious.
That's really funny, and I'm honestly surprised it doesn't happen more often.
Yeah, right, because like how I mean, it's not like I think all baseball players are these bumbling idiots who are just like, oh, well, that guy's just gonna stop. But at the same time, it's like you'd think that at some point someone would just like forget or something, like
right, like you're playing, baseball,
human error,
3 hours a day, 162 times throughout the season, all back to back. You gotta just get bored and lose focus at some point for something as mundane as a guy walking to first.
And yeah, the only time I can think of it happening is Jose Bautista.
Maybe that's why we're not major league ball players, is because we would just get bored and let these stupid things happen.
Plus, like
Yeah.
Joey Bats always had like a really high awareness of the game. Like one of my, I really genuinely miss having him in baseball. He was so much fun. One of my favorite things that he would do is he played right field, and if players got like a really shitty single, but
Mhm.
like one of those singles where it's like it's going to be a single and it's not going to be a double. So like you're just going to kind of go to first, right? And what Jose Bautista would try to do when players did that, like kind of meander to first, is he would try to throw them out. And he would get a few players every year. At least it felt
Mhm.
like every now and then he'd catch a guy that took that single just a little bit too much for granted and threw him out while he was trotting over to first. It was fun. I really miss his heads up style of play and when he got punched in the face by Rougned Odor.
Yeah, he didn't seem very aware of that punch coming at him.
No, zero punch awareness. Great base running awareness, zero punch in the face awareness.
That's one of those like highlights that I'll go back and watch at least once a season.
Oh my god, it never gets old. Never, not even once has it ever felt old. So let's just talk about a few more of these seasons because this is just so fascinating. Um, let's go to Jack Crooks, who walked 100. Sorry, got 123 total bases, and an on base percent of 375, 357. Those numbers were backwards. In 588 plate appearances, he amassed 135. Or sorry, 485 at bats, 86 runs, 107 hits, and 96 walks. He's so close. He's so close.
Oof.
11 away. He was never intentionally walked. He has no recorded strikeouts. I just realized this happened in 1890. It's so long ago.
There's one there's one that's even closer that happened in 2000 down at number 9 with Ricky Henderson.
I
Sorry,
was
number
I was
8.
I was gonna get to Ricky. Yeah, Ricky.
Oop,
Ricky
my
was
bad.
like a weird addition to this list. I actually thought he might have been on the other one because Ricky stole so many. Ricky Henderson was my idea for this idea because he would steal so many bases. And it's not that I didn't think Ricky Henderson had a high on base. I know Ricky Henderson, but I could see like a weird Ricky season where it's like he didn't get on base a ton, but he stole a bunch of bases while he was there, so it boosted his total bases. But he's on this list. He only got 128 total bases in 2000, but had an on base percentage of 368. And ain't that some shit? Why'd you gasp?
I saw one that was I mean, I'm doing a search for it now, but I saw one that was even closer than the 10 difference between hits and walks.
I mean, I'm looking at one that is 41 apart, but it's from 1892. That doesn't count. In 1892,
Yeah.
Jack Crooks walked 136 times and got 95 hits.
In 1976, Jim Wynn had 93 hits and 127 walks for a 34 difference.
Ooh,
Let's
I
see if
like
I can
that.
find one that's from
Okay,
actually this
hold
century.
on. I know that this is another old baseball player, John McGraw, which sounds like either an old baseball player or a country artist that you haven't heard of but everyone likes. Um, 1897,
Okay.
148 total bases, and on base percentage of 471.
What?
I know, and that's too many. That's too much. That's just too much. That's just too much on base percent. That's ridiculous. 99 walks,
471. Damn.
127 hits, in a season that he only had 391 at bats, and fuck, that's just impressive. Who's the
That's
most
like
recent?
that's Billy Bean's like favorite player of all time.
Oh, you damn right it is.
But what does he do?
Gets
Gets
on
on
base.
base. That's my terrible impersonation of Billy Bean being impersonated by Brad Pitt. Thank you.
I think that's flawless, Corwin. I respect it to the fullest.
Can I have my Oscar now?
So Ricky Henderson also passed. So Ricky Henderson in 1996, playing for the Padres, 37 years old. He walked 125 times, and he got 112 hits.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a whole lot.
He stole 37 bases. So stole 37 bases, 125 walks, 112 hits, only 160 total bases.
Really?
But a 410 on base percentage.
How many extra base hits did he have that season?
He had 17 doubles, 2 triples, and 9 home runs.
That's not a ton, but that's also not nothing. I kind of figured with those numbers it'd be a lot less.
You got to pump those numbers up.
Let's see. I'm
not
just
sure I
trying
have
to
anything
find
else creative
like
to say.
wacky shit here now.
Ooh, what's some wacky shit? I want to hear some wacky shit.
I'm just, I want to find like who had the most home runs. We still had a sub. Jim Winnigan had 17 home runs that year.
John McGraw had the highest OPS, and that stuff's not interesting.
Yeah. So he had 93 hits. So this was the year he had 93 hits, 127 walks. 17 of his 93 hits were for home runs.
I love that.
God, what was his OPS that year? 744? A slugging of 367? Yikes.
All right, so shall we take this to its ultimate conclusion? Final
Yes.
spreadsheet, the one spreadsheet to rule them all.
Yes.
So this got me thinking. Just how much does total bases matter, or whatever?
Killed it, Josh. You're killing it.
So I wanted to look at 2019. So I pulled up every player that had more than I think like 300 plate appearances in 2019. I put in the back end of the spreadsheet starting at where did I start putting stuff in? AC column AC, their positional WAR, and then next to that's total bases, on base percentage, OBO, which I'm calling opportunities, on base opportunities. So basically, I just took their total plate appearances and divided it, or sorry, multiplied it, by their on base percentage, and that gets us basically the total amount of times they were actually on base. Next to that, I have their bases per opportunity. So you're on base. How many bases are you getting after that? I have next to that their OWAR, and then their on base opportunities per OWAR. So basically, how many on base opportunities did it take for you to achieve a WAR? It's like an efficiency.
Okay.
So let's see. I have it sorted as of right now by total bases. So last year, the league leader in total bases with 359 was Rafael Devers. Let's look at Rafael Devers' other numbers. So he had an on-base percent that year of 361. And that with his at-bats of 647 gave him 253 times that he was actually on base. And with 359 total bases, that means that every opportunity he had on base, he got 1.4 bases, which feels pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting about a base and a half every time you have the opportunity. And with his 5.7 OWAR last season, you take that and divide. What am I dividing? Oh, right. The number of times on base divided by his OWAR. It took Rafael Devers 44.5 trips to the bases to get one OR's worth of OR. What makes you
So,
all of this concepts in math?
uh, I just want to say, while you were starting to go into that, I tried sorting by smallest OBO per OR, um, which
Oh, that's fun. We're
completely,
gonna get there. Yeah.
yeah, that really breaks the formula if you have negative WAR. Just
Yes.
saying. Yeah.
Although, you know what? Let's get there because that's actually my proof to that this list is correct. Because any list in baseball is correct if it's led by Mike Trout. And after you get past the negative numbers, because some players have negative ORs, and the first positive number, so the smallest positive number, which is good, you want this number to be small. Smaller means more efficient. The 31.7 on base opportunities per OR, which means it takes him 31.7 times to the bag in order for him to achieve one OR, is Mike Trout. And the rest of this list follows in suit, logically speaking, for 2019. Mike Trout, then Christian Yelich, then Marcus Semien, Ketel Marte, Xander Bogaerts, Alex Bregman, Tim Anderson, Yohan Moncada, Cody Bellinger. Like, this is the list you want to be on.
Yeah,
So,
like the rest of these names, it's not necessarily the specific order you would expect,
no.
but in the top names there's really no major surprises until you get past, the George Springers of the world.
Yeah, Mark Hanna's kind of a weird name, but yeah, like, yeah, this is people you. The fact that Mike Trout leads this list leads me to believe that I'm not wrong. I might not be right, but I'm not wrong.
Is that baseball's like universal benchmark?
Uh, a lot of the sabermetricians joke that that's when you know the season is officially, stats from the season officially matter. When
Is
Mike
when
Trout leads
Mike
the league.
Trout. I believe it. Totally believe it.
Yeah, they always say nothing matters in baseball stats until Mike Trout's leading the leaderboards.
Like
So,
when we were talking about like just whatever the last episode was about involving baseball, looking at like these Hall of Fame players and like how they, finish with their accolades to start off their careers. Like you see guys with like top 15 MVP finishes every year, and it's really exciting. Like, oh wow, these guys are really good so early. And then you look at Mike Trout, and it's like, oh, he's been top 3 every year he's been alive. Fuck me, he's good.
yeah, Mike Trout's better at baseball than I am at wiping my own ass. Like, it's amazing.
Uh, Mike Trout is better at baseball than I will ever be at anything I could possibly imagine.
Mike Trout's better at baseball than I am at being myself.
Mike Trout is better at being me than I.
What?
No, let's not. No. Words have failed me once again. It's that time of the podcast where I lose all ability to speak
All
and
right, so
reach coherent thought.
last year, the man with the most on base opportunities was Alex Bregman. Buzz. He had 292 trips to the base paths. Um, in that, he only had in bases per opportunity 1.1, which means he really wasn't doing all too much damage in like getting more out of his trips to the base path. Now, that being said, it
Probably because he
is
stopped getting signs from the bullpen after he got on base. Jokes.
uh, I'm actually kind of curious as to how this works out because I guess he had 41 home runs last.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. All right, so here's my theory.
I'm listening.
Fuck, it's he did so well. He did 592 slugging. How did this? Oh, all right. So here's my theory. He was on base a fuck ton. In large part because he walked 112 times. Sorry, 119 times. My bad. Plus 2 intentional walks. So we'll say 121 times. But walks don't count towards total bases. So that just brings his number down. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Efficiency wise? Because he also didn't steal any bases. He stole 5 bases, which is basically 0.
Hmm.
So it's not like those walks could have turned in to total bases. Actually, no, total bases. Oh, I'm an idiot. Total bases doesn't count steals either. Oh my god. I keep forgetting it's only hits. My dumbass.
I've lost focus on this rambling. Not even rambling, just what you're trying to accomplish here.
So I keep forgetting the total bases. I think, let me double check. I think total bases is only hit stuff. It's only how many bases you got out of hits and, like counting up 4 bases from a home run, 3 from a triple, all that shit. Because I always want it to be, yeah, that's all it fucking is. I always want it to be like you counting your walks, you counting your steals, shit like that, because those are all the bases you get. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So you know what? I'm on the fly, gonna adjust what I'm doing right here, and I'm gonna create true total bases. And all I'm gonna do to do that is basic addition. I'm writing true TB, which definitely feels like a, and I'm gonna just set that equal to total bases plus stolen bases plus walks. And let's see who had the most true total bases last year. Any guesses?
True total bases. I'm gonna go with Mike Trout.
He is number 7 on this list. It was Cody Bellinger.
Oh, okay.
Cody Bellinger had 351 total bases, but 461 true total bases because he walked 95 times. Oh, you know what? I'm actually going to include intentional walks because Cody Bellinger was intentionally walked 21 times, which is oh so many.
That is quite
Uh,
a lot. Not quite Barry Bonds territory, but still a lot.
no, not quite. Nothing's Barry Bonds territory. Let's be real.
No.
All right.
Except for maybe steroids used. You could do that with any number of players from back then.
All right, so Cody Bellinger still leads this list with 482 true total bases. Then it's Alex Bregman with 454, tied with Christian Yelich with 454. Then Marcus Simeon, who had 442, followed by Ronald Acuna Jr. with 441, and then Mike Trout with 438. And then Mookie Betts, who just got traded.
Yeah, I
So,
guess. Have we talked about that since he was officially moved?
not since they changed the trade details, although the details were relatively minor. Things just kind of got shuffled. Like Kenta Maeda still went to the Twins, but he went as part of a solo trade between the Dodgers and the Twins, where the same prospects were even moved. A few different pieces went from LA to Boston, of course, because there wasn't pieces going from Minnesota to Boston, but I mean, nothing to really write home about.
Fair enough.
So let me ask you this then, because I've clearly just been misguided this entire episode. And that's okay. Life sometimes just works out that way. Wouldn't you rather have true total bases instead of regular total bases? Like,
W-
I know it's just a matter of addition, but I feel like I care so much more about how many times how many actual total bases you achieved.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I guess I never really thought about how total bases were calculated and just kind of assumed that it was how many times you were literally on a base. Um, so yeah, I guess our stat of true total bases is what I always assumed it total bases actually was.
Yeah, I'm super mad at myself for not realizing this, and I guarantee you, someone is out there who was screaming since the beginning of the episode. That's not how it works, you fucking idiot.
Man, I don't even care that much. And to that person yelling, scream louder, we can't hear you.
Yeah. Until I can hear you in all my glory at my house, not caring about your existence. It's not loud enough.
We're bad people.
But the best kind from the East Coast, where it's charming. All right, so then I'm gonna just, for an efficiency purpose, I'm gonna take true total bases and divide it by games. So I want to see how many bases you got per game, regardless of the manner in which you did it. And the leader in that category is Christian Yelich, followed by Mike Trout, followed by Cody Bellinger. I feel good about it. So Christian Yelich achieved in some manner 3.5 bases per game.
Wow.
Followed immediately by Mike Trout, who got 3.3, followed by Cody Bellinger, who got 3.1, and then the only other player to get more 3 or more in per game was Nelson Cruz, who had 3.0.
Okay. I definitely would not have guessed that he would be the one to break that barrier, but yeah. Okay.
Damn, 3.5 bases per fucking game. That's some shit.
That is a lot of bases, actually. Like, the more you think
Right?
about it, the more it's like, that's a significant amount per game.
What would be the most interesting way? Let's just call it 4, just because there's no clean way to get that 5, like that, or that
Mhm.
half. What's the most interesting way in your mind to get 4 bases in a game?
4 hit by pitches.
Oh, that's great. Oh, did I count? I'm not sure I counted those. I don't
Count
think.
them up.
Oh man, we're gonna have to. Yeah, I didn't. Oh, hit by pitches. Here we go. Let's see who had the most hit by, or adding in those hit by pitches. It only makes Christian Yelich better. He's now at 3.6 total bases per game.
We can
We
now
have a
officially
couple.
round up.
I have a couple additions to the three per game club. Let me just resort the list. There we go. So, in addition to Nelson Cruz, George Springer, Alex Bregman, and Anthony Rendon are all also members of the 3-point club, which is a 3-base club, the most exclusive stats club in baseball. All right. So, same question, same answer.
Yeah. 5 or 4 hit by pitches.
All right. Well, that makes what I'm going to say feel fucking stupid, because I was going to say a single, a double, and a walk, but
Yeah.
fuck. All right, big guy. How about a triple, and an intentional walk?
Isn't that 7 bases?
No, one triple. Oh, I said a triple twice because I was just vamping. No, so one triple and one intentional walk.
Fair enough.
All
What
right,
if it's one home run and you just hit one home run every single game and that's it?
Well,
You finish the season with 162 hits, 162 games played, and 162 home runs.
0 walks. Everything else is a strikeout, so like 1,000 strikeouts.
Or you finish the season with 648 hit by pitches, which is cooler.
Oh my god, which is cooler?
Right?
All right, so on the one hand, you have just hit 162 home runs. You have not just set the home run record, you have demolished it.
You have basically ensured that that record will never be broken unless you are no longer playing the sport of baseball that we know and love today.
Yeah, unless Manfred further changes the baseball.
Unless he adds 3 bases per every base and you just stop along the way wherever you want. There's no way you're going to break that. I guess that wouldn't count towards home runs, just total bases. But yeah, go
Manfred,
ahead.
like fresh from doing a lot of coke. We're changing we're changing it. It's gonna be a trapezoid.
Each home run counts as 6.
They're gonna change the shape of the diamond every game. Trapezoids, rhombuses.
It's a circle. There's 2 batters on either side. A pitcher can throw to either one, and you just run in circles.
Whichever batter hits the other batter first is out.
All right, episode idea, Josh.
This is
we do a kilo of cocaine and then come up with a new sport of baseball.
Whatever it is, it can't be worse than whatever Manfred's. Zing, Manfred, take that. Ha. What was I saying? I don't remember. Oh, all right. What's the wackiest but yet most plausible line you could come up with for how you would get on base 4 times in a game?
4 singles.
That's not wacky.
Oh, I thought you said the most plausible.
Yeah, no, wacky, plausy, but wacky. Like an intentional walk, a hit by pitch, a regular walk, and a single. I could see that happening.
Sure. At this point, we're just kind of making stuff up.
Yeah, give me one for you.
For 4 total bases, a double, because that's kind of cool. And then you hit what if it's a called strike swinging and you get a single and then a stolen base?
Okay. So wait, you mean like a called strike swinging, and then you go to first?
Yeah, like so you run it out to first.
So it wouldn't be a single.
It wouldn't be.
No.
All right, and then what if you get on base that way and then you steal 2 bases? You steal second and third.
Okay. I'm game. Oh, actually, I don't think I ever answered your question. I would take the home run one because that would be talked about ad nauseum forever. But getting hit by 648 pitches would be like, isn't that weird?
Honestly, I feel like the biggest thing there would be the fact that you got hit with 648 pitches over the course of like a 5-month season, and you can still stand to play 162 games. Like your body is still capable of being like propped upright to be in the batter's box 4 times a game.
I would just start wearing more layers. Like
just wear
like
fucking full knight's armor.
Is that Gary Sanchez wearing 3 uniforms stacked on top of each other?
Just
it looks like
Kevlar
he's anticipating getting hit.
uniforms.
But yeah, like if you're watching a baseball documentary, they so like affectionately and lovingly refer to like the single season home run record as they go through the history. Like Babe Ruth, hit 60, and then Roger Maris hit 61, and then Mark McGwire, and then Barry Bonds, and then Joe Samoa's hit 162.
Oh god, that would destroy baseball.
And there'll be like videos of your family cheering for you, and there'll be a video of like Barry Bonds kids like giving you a high five later. But if you're the guy that got hit by 648 baseball, like it's gonna be like, and then in 2023, Corwin Heller became the target of every pitcher in baseball, fresh off his scandal of fucking every wife in MLB.
I feel like I would refuse to take the 162 home runs just because that would ruin baseball statistics for the rest of time. Like, Barry Bonds hits 72 home runs in a season. That's fucking nothing compared to Corwin's 162. Like, that's less than half. That sucks. Or like, oh god, fucking Joe Douglas, whatever his name is, hit 30 home runs this year. Who the fuck cares? That's nothing. That's 132 less than Corwin hit 2 years ago.
How much do you think your WAR would be? Like, genuine question.
Infinite.
Hear me
infinite.
out. If you hit 162 home runs, but struck out every single other plate appearance.
Oh, please tell me there's a WAR calculator that we can do.
Because that is genuinely a question, right? Like, because strikeouts are bad,
Ooh.
but
Hold on, we can do this.
Can we?
Yeah, so all right. Fansided has I found a WAR calculator. Oh god, I don't know how to plug this stuff in. Like this uses like on base percentage, slugging percentage. So like we'd have to do some more advanced math. Let me see
All
if
right,
I
hold
can
on. I'm gonna do some quick math here because I have one. So on base percent. So let's assume you in a typical season get what 600, let's say 650 plate appearances or at bats or plate.
Yeah,
What's it?
600. Let's say 600.
600 on the money. All right, so
Or what's 648? So 4 times 162.
648. All right,
Yeah,
and
648.
okay, so you have
That's
648.
exactly 4 game for 162 games.
All right, well, if you're hitting one home run every game, then your on base percentage is 250.
Perfect. Okay.
All right, slugging. Okay, so fuck. How's the easy? What's the easiest way of doing slugging?
I
It's
don't know.
just it's just fucking god damn it. Uh Singles, doubles, triples, and home runs over at bats. So it would just be home runs over at bats. So if you hit how many 162 home runs divided by your 648 at bats. Oh, I didn't hit equals. Now it's just a goofy looking fraction that helps absolutely no one. It's 300. You have a 300 slug. That is not a high slugging. That is not a high slugging at all, sir.
Oh my god.
What?
All right, hold on. What position are we playing?
Uh, Left field.
Okay. Defense on a scale from 1 to 7 where 4 is average.
1. We're really bad. We're just here to hit a home run every day.
Okay. And then base running 1 to 5 where 3 is average.
1. We're bad at everything but hitting home runs.
Okay. We would have a 49.8 WAR
For one season?
for one season, a value of $224.2 million.
Get the fuck out of here.
We would have 49.8 WAR.
Get the fuck out of here.
We would have an on-base percentage of 250 and a slugging percentage of 3,000.
Wait, where are you getting this from?
Isn't this what you just told me?
You know, what website?
Just look up simple WAR calculator 2.1.
Just did. I'm not even putting in these numbers. Wait, hold on. How did you get these? What numbers did you put in the yellow boxes?
0.25, 3.0,
Yeah.
648,
Wait.
162 for plate appearances in games.
Wait a second. 3.0? I thought it was 162 divided by 648. Should be 0.3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm doing the same thing, and my WAR is 2.7.
There's no way that slugging percentage could be right.
Well, think about it. You're only getting, a home run is great, but I guess in terms of, because slugging is just basically total bases divided by your plate appearances or at bats.
So,
Which one is it?
so wouldn't it be 1?
At bats. No, because our at bats is high. We have 162 home runs for 648. Oh wait. Oh fuck, you're right. My bad. It would be 1. My bad. I did bad math.
Okay.
God damn it, Josh.
So we both fucked it. So our
Yep.
actual WAR now would be 12.9
Oh my god. Um,
with a value of $58 million.
what do we want? What do we want to make league average like 500?
413 is what it had. So
I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna call it 500. I'm gonna say league average OP on base percentage was 350.
okay,
And
so our WAR is now 9.2.
I'm trying to get mine up to where yours was. And I have my WAR right now. Yeah, there it is. All right, now we're that's is that surprising to you, or is that where you would
Um,
expect?
I mean, if you hit one home run a game and struck out 3 times, while having awful defense, awful base running, playing an awful position with, higher than normal averages for the rest of the league, 9.2 WAR sounds about right. Like, you are good at exactly one thing, fucking awful at everything else. But, I don't know how someone could hit 162 home runs in a season and only have a WAR of 9.2. Like, I feel like everything else has to be average.
So you know what's weird is if you go to base running and make it a one is the best. Oh, 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 I fucked up. I'm gonna make us bad at everything. I made us good at everything. So if you make us bad at defense and bad at base running, our WAR is 4.6.
Gross.
That's so basically what this saying is you can hit a home run every single game, strike out the rest, whatever. Be bad at defense, bad at base running.
How'd you get 4.6?
I put defense to 7 because that's the
Yeah.
worst, and base running to 5. And 4.6 WAR. I guess that might technically be right,
Wow. If you
or at
change
least by this
the
loose count.
average on base percentage and average slugging back to what they were, the WAR jumps up to 8.2.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna change our position to center field. I'm gonna make us good at everything again, and I'm gonna change league average on base
Let's
to.
use 2019 numbers just to be sure.
Ooh, can you provide that?
Yeah,
Do you have
so
that?
average on base percentage was 323 for 2019,
Okay, 0.323.
and then uh slugging was 435.
Ooh, that's gonna be big. All right, so then now it's a 13 WAR season, which I
And then are we doing
think would
averages for base running and defense? And let's say we play center field.
I put a center field and all right, let me put average then.
You know what? I'm
Uh
gonna put first base for mine because that seems to make sense for the kind of player we are with
I mean, truly we should be a
22-inch
DH.
arms.
If we're a DH with defense at best, which is just me being funny, and base running at average, it's still only an 8.6 WAR season.
Yeah. This is
This is
this
I
like I don't know how normally war would be calculated, but this can't seem right.
I guess it is.
Yeah.
It feels like a team though would value this player a lot more than metrics would, right?
Oh my god, yeah. If you could guarantee at minimum 1 run a game, it doesn't matter. Like that's worth so many more wins than 10.
Where would you put this player in your lineup?
Uh f- I
Probably
I don't know.
traditional four spot, right?
Yeah, you gotta 4 or
Because
5.
it's weird because like you used to put your best hitter in the four spot because you'd
Mhm.
assume someone else would be on when they got up to go hit, but modern conventional wisdom via sabermetrics proves that that's just not a good idea because then you're allotting fewer plate appearances to your best hitter. But if you have this mystical figure that's going to provide you one home run per game and then nothing else, you actually don't need them to have a lot of plate appearances.
No.
You just need that one plate appearance to be strategically placed. So putting it at 4 might actually make the most sense because they'll get plate appearances enough for you to hopefully be able to make this work where there's someone else on base when this happens.
Mm-hmm.
But because you have your best hitters in front of it and all that, but it won't be so much that you're allotting too many extra plate appearances per season to a guy that's going to do nothing other than this one home.
My favorite part of this mystical baseball player we've created is that if he hits a home run at his first plate appearance, he has to stay in to strike out 3 more times because that's the way this math works out. You can't pull him and put somebody else in. So a pitcher could go up and straight bowl the pitch to him, and he's still going to swing and miss.
Or a pitcher could straight up bowl the pitch to him, and he would hit it for a home run. Could you imagine a pitcher rolling the ball across, and that gets hit for a home run? That'd be amazing.
That would be. That's like some Vlad Guerrero to the absolute max extreme. God, how could you even call that a pitch if it's on the ground as it comes? Because usually once the ball hits the ground, it's like that's it, right? Like they'll call the pitch as either like a balk or a wild pitch, whatever it is.
Well, if it hits the ground, you can still swing at it. They'll still let you do it. It's usually ill-advised, and it always works out. There was a video circulating the other day about Vlad Guerrero, the senior, literally hitting a pitch that had bounced for a single because he's junior. But it's an ill-advised move to swing at those shits. So to hit one for a home run would just be fucking hilarious.
What's really hilarious about this is if he goes up and strikes out the first 3 times, the pitcher just knows no matter what he throws, he's going to hit it for a home run. And there's no stopping it. He could just go out there, hold the bat out in front of him without swinging, and it's just guaranteed to be a home run.
What would be funny is if, imagine this guy comes up, he's batting wherever, it doesn't even matter. Let's say he's batting 4, and all 3 players in front of him got on base. Bases are loaded. No outs. And it's an important game for whatever reason you want it to be.
Game 7 of the World Series.
Sure. And he hasn't hit his home run yet. So it's in play. Does the manager walk him?
You can't. Because that would fuck with the whole system, the whole mystique of this player. The manager is just, through no sound reason that he could muster, is just incapable of calling for an intentional walk. The pitcher has to throw that ball, and he has to score a home run.
There's no avoiding opening Schrodinger here. It must be open to determine if that cat's alive or dead.
Rob Manfred will hold the opposing pitcher's family hostage at gunpoint every single game to make sure he throws that pitch.
I love this player. What's his name?
Corwin Heller.
I was going to go with Sarah just to apologize.
Why don't we call him Larry Bonds?
Now, you know what would be funny? A movie about a woman playing baseball, like in the MLB, but where that's just never addressed. So imagine a world where, like, I don't know, Greta Gerwig is playing, like, she gets signed by the Yankees, and she's like playing first base for the Yankees, and it's just a movie, right? Where like that is a part of it, and no one that's not what the movie's about. Like it's about her like working on her
Or like if everyone just assumes that she's, built like fucking Giancarlo Stanton and can hit these towering monster home runs, but she's, 125 pounds soaking wet.
You know what I always thought would be funny? I'd always thought a Yogi Berra movie, just for the scene, because I don't know if anyone is familiar with how Yogi Berra got signed, but a player or a guy working in the front office for the Yankees like saw his stat sheet and signed him based on that, and had never met him in person. And then when this very, very small Italian man showed up, he was like, "Oh God, no, this can't be the player I just signed." And it was, and then he became a 10-time world champion. So I would, I'd love to see that be a scene in a movie.
Or what if, like, instead of it being like Greta Gerwig, it's like Danny DeVito is the equivalent to like Aaron Rodgers or Pat Mahomes. And it's just no one comments on the fact that Danny DeVito is a 70-year-old man that's 5'1", is
Danny
essentially
actually 4'10".
Is he really?
Yes, he is.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not realize how short he actually was. But sure.
I can picture the scene now. All right, let's say it's the National League, so he pitches and hits. All right. So starts off the scene. You see a baseball like pump into a glove, real tight. Batter had swung at it, and the umpire strike one, right? And then you see the catcher throw the ball back. You see the batter's eyes; they're all nervous, right? And then all of a sudden, strike two. Right, batter's like, fuck. Catcher, you see a little smirk off the catcher, throws the ball back. You see the pitcher spikes, right? You don't see his face, just the spikes as he steps off the mound, wipes him off, gets back on, right? Catcher lays down the signs. Strike three, you're out. Cuts back to Danny DeVito, fist pumping. No, not even that. He's cool as a fucking cucumber. Danny DeVito back there like, got him, chief.
No, I'm imagining it's literally Frank Reynolds in the trash man costume while he's tripping balls on acid.
We're gonna go get some whores.
Some whores.
I like banging in whores, Charlie.
I just want to do some cocaine off some Asian broad's tits.
Oh, you're just mangling it. I think that's enough for today.
That's a great place to end this episode.
Yeah, Frank Reynolds. All right, Corwin, you got any closing thoughts?
Please get Danny DeVito in the next Major League movie.
Oh God, yes. Please get Danny DeVito in the next Major League Baseball season. Well, I guess that does it from us. So if you want to follow the show on Twitter, you can do so at JuicyPod. If you want to hit us up via Gmail, you can do so at JuicyTheNumbers@gmail.com. Until Monday.
Bye.